Nice to meet you, everyone. I've seen a couple of you here, a few familiar faces, but if you don't know me, I'm Jenny. I work at GAI Insights, as Paul introduced me. And I'm going to start off teaching you some concepts for 201. It's kind of similar to what we do for some of our clients at GAI Insights, but it's going to be a little bit more demo intensive. I'll do the slides just a little bit. I'll maybe even rush through them due to time because we have so much that we really need to cover today. I really want to, I'm under the assumption actually that you already know how to do basic things, like you have your prompts in ChatGPT, you might even label your chats and things like this. So we want to go into a little bit more detail. We want to show you how to make projects. We want to show you how to make a GPT, custom instructions, personalization, which is a really huge aspect of the 5.1 model that just came out as well. In addition to agents and how you can kind of combine and use both of those at the same time. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so overview, we're going to review custom instructions and personalization. This is a really big aspect of what came out with the newest model. You can do this for projects, you can do this with the GPTs. It's a very great way to differentiate you because with ChatGPT, everything sounds the same. If you're 101 ChatGPT, you just know how to get the basics of a result on the other end, but now we really want to refine it. We want to fine tune it and we want it to sound like you, or if you're using it for a customer service agent or something like this, you want it to sound polite. You can really adjust and change things to be exactly as you need, which is a great functionality we'll go over later. Projects, custom GPTs, and agents, as I said before. So we're going to learn also how to do some prompts that are a little bit more advanced than your regular just putting in an input into ChatGPT. We always like to go over a role task output framework for expertise and persona and adding context, which is more of like a 101 level type prompting, but then we can also go over multi-stage prompting and constraints as well. So this is essentially just an overview that it's not just putting a directive into the chat prompt. You can layer it in different ways. You can ask in different ways. You can add different context. You can set up constraints. For example, if you need the output to be really predictable and highly precise, you're able to do that. You just have to be very explicit with what your headings are, your bullets, etc. So it's getting your brain kind of geared towards, you just don't have to say, I need a report. It's, you are a manager, there's context, you have a personal voice to this, the output can be very explicit, and you have the options to do these things. And as you start thinking about ChatGPT and how you can utilize it for your role, understanding different types of prompting techniques is actually very helpful. Custom instructions. So prompts are the directions that you're putting into the interface. Custom instructions, it's something I'm going to review with you and it goes in on the back end. So whether you're building a GPT, you're adding custom instructions to a project folder, or it's your own personal instructions, this is going to be guiding that specific personality that you have. Like if you want something specific, like the newest thing people are talking about is no M dashes. That's great. That wasn't really a big bother for me, but this is going to be the place that you're able to put that where you're not getting M dashes in your results or emojis, or if you want it to be more professional, if you want it to sound nice, if you want it to be blunt, you're able to direct it as needed. We'll go over projects, agent mode, GPTs, and agents. So GPTs, everyone probably already knows what these are. But the big picture is essentially like you can utilize all of these together. They have different use cases. They're not all used for the same thing. So I really want to be very clear and explicit in what you're using them for as I go through them as well, because I'm going to start off with some demos that might be confusing because I'm going to be mixing them up and combining them. But just so you're very aware, an agent, it can do multi-step workflows for you. It can do tasks for you. It can call external tools and it can execute complex tasks autonomously. The GPTs, you can personalize them, you can share them, but they're really good for repetitive tasks. So you can have custom instructions for creating blog posts, for creating reports. If you're doing a task and you're doing it over and over again, creating a GPT is a really good way to save some time to have it continuously do this for you and get consistent customized responses. And projects are very good for organizing data, centralizing your work in files, and for team collaboration because you can share those with your team as well. And I'll show you examples a little bit later, but I just wanted to be very clear with what these are. Okay, so side-by-side comparison, really quick. Projects are for organization. If you want a consistent helper for repeat tasks, we have custom GPTs. If you need multi-step execution with tools, you can use agents. You can also combine some of these. For example, you can have a project folder and you use an agent inside of it with agent mode. Or you can have a project folder and you can use agent mode and you can have it called to a custom GPT. You can share these also with your teams as well, which is very great for the project folders as well as the custom GPTs. And here's the setup effort for you. So I'm not sure if, Paul, you share these slides with the attendees, but I think this is actually very helpful if no one's done it before, which one you should use for which use case. I think this is a really good diagram for that.
Yeah, and no, and Jenny, we're happy to share the slides if anybody wants them. Just reach out, and this recording will be posted on YouTube tomorrow.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of go through the slides a little bit more faster so I can get right into the demos because I actually have a lot to review and a lot to go over. We already talked about GPTs, we already talked about project folders, etc. So I'm just going to dive right in. And what I really want to start with is just a demo that combines some of these things that I just talked about. So you see ChatGPT basic interface here. There's something now called company knowledge, and this is a new update with the 5.1. And I kind of want to demo this for you so you can see how it works if you haven't seen it yet. So you can click on company knowledge and you can choose which areas which areas of the organization the company knowledge is going to access. So it can be Google Drive, email, Slack. I'm going to keep it as this. And then you can put a prompt in here essentially saying, please check my Slack channels for this specific information, my emails for these things. And it's going to go ahead and find that for you. You can have it create you a weekly report out of your business information that's in your Slack channel, for example. Let's see. I don't have the prompt there, but I'm just going to ask it. So look into the Acme Corp Slack channel and my emails and find any action items related to Acme Corp. It's something very simple. This is being directive. You can also, if you're trying to have it create you something, you would say, use like an RTO prompting framework, like I'm a project manager, I need a report. But in this specific scenario, I'm just having it look for things. So for right now, I'm not having it, I'm not putting any sort of customization there, personalization there. I'm just showing you the company knowledge functionality, what it's capable of doing, in the fastest fashion as well.
Jenny, can we just pause for a second? Is anyone on the call use this much?
I'm wondering if it's driven by the domain for the email. Can you only use the domain of the email that was used to create the account?
Yeah, I connected that very specifically. So it is my email, my Gmail that's connected to it. It wouldn't be able to access other people's emails. And it's also my Slack as well with that email domain.
Yeah. So Christina, we use a Google Workspace, and we got Microsoft as well. And I've got it connected to both my Google and HubSpot, and it will do it. It just takes a while. I mean, I still find it faster to go to the app to actually do the search, but you can see where this is going, particularly if you get agents over time, it can do it,
Yeah.
asynchronously.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's a functionality that's there that you can actually use. It would be easier also if you give it a specific time and date and you had an agent and then you can put it into a GPT and said within the last 2 weeks, update the emails, update the information that's in Slack. And I was able to do this earlier today and it actually had a really decent result. This is what came out. And it fetched all of my emails. So it actually fetched every single thing in Slack because I created a company called Acme Corp. And it gave me the link to where I could go for these past red alert overdue items. It gave me my Gmail emails as well. And you can have it summarize them in a specific way. So I think this functionality, while it has existed before, the way that it's connecting things is much more efficient. And it actually does work pretty well from what I've seen. So this is a functionality that you can try by clicking company knowledge and then adding the sources that you need to, and it's going to go ahead and search those as needed. Any questions? This is like a brand new thing, so I just kind of threw that in there because I think it's kind of cool. But I'm going to go ahead and
On the
okay.
plus plan, or do you need the professional, or what plan is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from what we have. We have the Pro. So I think you need the Plus or the Pro, probably. The free one, I don't think you'd be able to do it.
Yeah, I have the plus, so.
Well, yeah, and I think so to be really clear, so the B2B versions, there's Teams, it used to be called Teams, now it's called Business and then Enterprise. And we use Business here at GAI Insights. And then on the consumer side, you have the free, the Pro, and I forget what the $200 level is. I'm not sure if it's available at the Pro level on the consumer side. Does anyone know?
I don't see it in mine.
Okay.
Consumer side is plus, actually. The pro side is a 200 one.
Yeah, that makes sense because I have ChatGPT 5. I think it's $20 a month or something personal.
Yeah,
and
that's the plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it. It doesn't look at all like what you're showing though. It doesn't say, it says ChatGPT 5.1 or whatever. I just got upgraded yesterday or Sunday or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does
But this-
agent mode have anything to do with it, or?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So
Is that when
we
I
just got
added-
agent mode in ChatGPT plus, like September.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm able to add it if you do the plus there. I think there's an app like the thing that says show more. There's one. They say more. I think that
Company
I have.
knowledge.
Under more.
It looks like it can
Yeah,
only
yeah,
do
if you-
Gmail accounts. It
No,
can't.
no. You. Oh, I thought you could
It's
do
like
more.
it can't do accounts that are not Gmail.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Box and Dropbox, but it's mostly Google. And then there's a connect more button, so that it's possible it would open up other things in the Plus account.
I can
Yeah.
see Outlook, calendar, email, everything, SharePoint. So I have plus personal account.
Um,
So if you
Oh, yeah.
click on add and just connect more and show more, I'm pretty certain you'll see it.
Great. Well, let's do two questions. Go ahead, Crystal, and then Katrina, and then Raymond. Crystal, you're up.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was just gonna, it's not a question, but it was a comment. So when I was watching Salesforce's Dreamforce 2025, the webinar, they had the live conference, they were actually presenting a case very similar to this and referring to it as like the agentic enterprise and connecting their Slacks with their email and their work portfolios and maybe SharePoint in order to help, teams function better. So this is kind of outstanding that we would have access to it if you just have Plus. Like I have Plus, I haven't tried it yet, but really powerful.
Yeah, and Crystal, on that, I think every major knowledge base is trying to do integration. Slack has got their own integration, agents, Salesforce, SAP. Yeah, I mean, it's a real battle for who's going to have this knowledge, who's going to have the intelligence layer above the kind of traditional apps and source of truth, I think. Go ahead, Katrina, and then go to Raymond.
So, my question, because I can't see it yet, I do have Plus, but for some reason I can't see it yet. But so I'll figure that out. But I was wondering, when you write, when you prompt using this company background and all this kind of stuff, does it come out as just part of your how the list of chats just in general? Because I after a while I get like if they just come out there, it's very confusing to me. That's why I like projects, because in the project you have all your chats for that project there. So I was wondering, is that true for the company? This new feature that you just showed.
I think I see what you're saying because I get to the company knowledge by the regular chat here. And then when you
Yeah.
go to a project, but I think the thing is that you can move this to a project. So you can't initially create it in a project, but once you have it, you can create it. And I can say, this is the Acme Corp,
Oh, I
right?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do just to organize stuff because I get
Yeah.
otherwise, I have to bucket it somehow. But I'm just getting into unfortunately, not nearly as far ahead as you all. So I'm in a car. I'm not as far ahead of you all, but I'm just getting into the personalized, the bundles, GPTs and stuff like that. So thank you. Sorry, my radio went on. Thanks a lot.
So this
That's
is how you
interesting.
do
I
it.
never knew you could just drag.
Yeah, because it is. I noticed what you're saying. You don't see it on the screen where it says the company knowledge, but you can create a project for yourself, and then you can move any project, any chat to a project. You can also rename it, which is helpful, but then you move it there. And then once it's there, then you have that same chat that you can reference back there as needed. And then you can use it and then do agent mode and things like this to have it repeated every week for weekly status
Yep,
reports and things
absolutely.
like that.
Awesome.
And so now that we're here into this project folder, I think I want to dive into it a little bit more because we're already on the page for the functionality of
Jenny,
project folders.
if I may interrupt, just got two other quick questions. Go ahead, Raymond. Raymond had his hand up. Raymond, you still there?
Yeah, it wasn't really a question. I was just saying it feels like with everyone here, it feels like we're past the point of concern of our data.
Yeah.
Like even if I mean, it seems like that's just a given now. If all of these different organizations are trying out these different ideas of being able to access our data and give us, information about it, ultimately one is probably going to end up at the top, right? Whether it's Microsoft or OpenAI or somebody else. But what happens to all the data that's out there in the meantime? I was just thinking about like we're all comfortable with just putting, read my emails, and everything else. And it was just a thought that came to me.
Well, Raymond, to that point, one of the things I like about Microsoft Copilot, which Jenny's not shown, they have a tab up top that says work or web. So when you put the chat in and hit web, it's only going to the public web and not your internal documents. And if you put work, it's only going to that. So that's a kind of a bifurcation of which target data.
Right. It just feels like, okay, so if we're working with Microsoft or we're working with OpenAI and we're, having all these agents and these tasks going on with our data, the winner, I mean, who's going to be the winner? In the meantime, our data's across these different platforms. And it just seems like nobody, folks are just okay with it now. Like we've reached a level of comfort where, yeah, okay, check my emails, go to my Google Sheets, it's no problem. And it doesn't matter if it's Microsoft or OpenAI or Google or, we really are getting comfortable with it. And that was an observation that I
Yeah.
just
Well, just a footnote in that. So on the B2B versions of ChatGPT, the ChatGPT Business and ChatGPT Enterprise, IT admin has a control to whether to allow the employee to be able to connect to internal documents like SharePoint or not. And I think maybe 80% of the companies you work with are comfortable with. There's still 20% say, I'm not comfortable yet turning it off. You can use ChatGPT for generic pub thing here, but we're not yet comfortable turning it on inside.
Hey, Paul, this is Tim.
Yeah.
It occurs to me, and I'm in this situation, I bet a lot of people are. I will find out what my situation is, but this is going to cause a lot of consternation because if you have MDM, which most organizations do, so they will say, well, you can have Outlook on your phone or your iPad if you let us manage that Outlook account. That's fine. And then you're protected and all that stuff. But if you then say, oh, by the way, ChatGPT or Claude, why don't you connect to my Outlook? You're now leaking your confidential data out. And
Right.
most people probably wouldn't recognize that. And I bet most corporations aren't thinking about this.
No, Tim, that's a great point. And the other one, that the financial services firms are very aware of that. And one of the things we've seen in two of them that are doing training is they are encouraging employees to only use the work ChatGPT with their work email. And if you want to use that for personal, great, but don't put them both on the same computer.
Yeah, but they're asking people to do things that aren't going to be comfortable for them. And most people won't even think about it. They just it'll never occur to them that, oh, well, they're both right here. Why can't I do this, right?
Right. Crystal, did you have another question, or was your hand up from the previous one? Okay. Okay, Jenny, keep driving.
Okay, so now we're in a project folder, and this is the great place, like I was telling you before, to organize your project data. You can have prompts that are saved here that your team can see. I use this for email templates as well. Like if I have communications or email templates that I share with my team that everyone can use in real time, you can add project files and they're static, they stay here, as opposed to the GPTs where you might put files in the back end with a limit, but they're not going to stay if you upload them on the front end. With a project folder, that's what's different is if you add the file here, it's going to stay within this folder. And then you can keep it there and it can reference this information as well. And then you have the regular prompt feature. You can combine agent mode with this as well, which is what I'm going to do in the next demo. You can turn off web search to where it's just searching your internal documents, which is a very useful tool. You can add your connectors as needed. And then, as I said before, you can share it with your team if you need to. Another really cool thing that you can do is when you edit the project here, you can change whether it's default and it only accesses the memories from the outside chats, vice versa, or whether it's project only. So you have that functionality to do it. And then you can also change, this is what I was talking about before, the instructions. So personalization is really key in the age of AI. I did a masterclass with the head of sales at LinkedIn recently, and the guy just said, 50% of people don't trust people who are buying or selling things. And really, it's just about ChatGPT because everything sounds the same. Everything's an M dash, everything's an emoji. And the key is to make it about whatever the voice is. If you can put a genuine voice, people actually trust you. The content on that other side is going to be much better. And this is a really good way for you to actually do it. So with the instructions, you can say a lot of different things. For this one, I just put informative, no emojis, no M dashes, just to show you what you can put here, but it can also be very explicit. So if you're creating an agent, for example, and it's responding to a customer, you can say, be very sensitive in this situation. If you're a manager, you want it to be blunt. You have the ability to adjust the instructions and really put the context in there to give you a really quality result. And I would utilize this as much as you can. The custom instructions don't just exist for projects. I'll show you later how you can do it in general for your whole ChatGPT, and you can also do it on the back end for custom GPTs as well. Okay, any questions about project folders before I run a quick demo? Cool.
Yeah, who else uses projects a lot? Now, Greg, you mentioned using them. Christina uses them. Thanks.
Oh yeah, all the time. And you can bundle them too, because I'm building my own company, my own AI consulting. So headers, banners, logos, I bundle those all together for kind of a company thought process. So it knows how to write my letters and signatures and all that kind of stuff. But if I didn't encapsulate it, it'd be mixed in with all my other junk. So thanks. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Greg. Go ahead, Lucinda, and then Christina.
Yeah, I had a question on the projects. And so is the projects, I've seen it in the personal one. I don't have ChatGPT for Teams or business or enterprise. But for personal, how do people use that? I just want to ask that question.
To other people in the chat, or do you want me to list how we use it?
For you, yeah, for you, yep.
Okay, so we use it for training communications. I use it I hit all of the ones for our clients. I have it client specific where I can have agents go back into my Slack, into my email and give me weekly summaries, which I think is very helpful. I think just in general for organizing data, I do it for surveys. If I want very consistent information or if I need it grouped, it's kind of a little bit all over the place. I think clients that we do employee onboarding, I left this one here. That's also very helpful because if you have the consistent information that's there. I think, does anyone else have any on Tech Tip Tuesday, which I have here? Does anyone else have any other use cases?
Lucinda, was that your question?
I mean, yeah, I was just wondering for like how people use maybe waiting for an actual specific demo would be good. Yeah.
Okay, and then Mark Alker.
Yeah.
You had your hand up. Here, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, you know, one thing that's really cool that some people do is, let's imagine you have a weekly meeting with a client, okay? And you take the transcript from that and you stuff it into the project, and then, you know, you do that every week. Then you can go in there and ask it a question. And that's really powerful. You can, how's this project going? What are the next steps that we have to work on? I think that's really, really important. It's a great use case.
That's great. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay,
Any
Jenny,
other-
keep driving, Jenny. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I just did this demo in a project folder to show you how I use it for Tech Tip Tuesday. It's something that I started at GAI Insights. So essentially, it's just to have a folder with all the tech tips. And this essentially, I use an agent to call back to my operational efficiency GPT, which is configured to give me specific things for how we can be more operationally efficient. And it does this every Tuesday, and then it spits back some sort of a tidbit for us to put in our Slack so our team can see how to, you know, organize our Gmails better, how to organize Slack a little bit better. So this is something that I have automated. I'm not doing this myself. I had an agent do it, and the agent also called to my GPT to get it done. So I gave this prompt, I put it in here, and I'm saying every Tuesday at 5 a.m. Eastern, I want it to call to my GPT, and then I want it to craft me a tech tip, and it'll send me the tech tip. So this is essentially what it gave me, and this is my tip. It's using an extended clipboard in Windows. And then I can go ahead and take this, I can find the resource for it. And if I decide it's a good tech tip, then I can go ahead and put it in our Slack channel. Otherwise, I'll run it again and see what else I can kind of pick up from that. But are there any questions on the specific use case for the project folder and how I use it?
And just for the scheduling, like how do you do this schedule? You just put it as a prompt and it knows, you don't have to do any other stuff?
Yeah, because it's an agent, so it'll actually go in and do it if you gave it a specific time. You can also go in and schedule tasks as well. I don't know if you've ever done that, but there's a functionality. Yeah, there's a functionality in here when you go into your settings where you can schedule things. So you can, if you type in /schedule as well, it'll do it for you, but it's like send a weekly email, then you can have, you know, you can run it just like this. So the functionality I think is essentially the same. You can do it as an agent, you can call the time, or you can even just say schedule whatever, whether it's a reminder, and it'll do that for you because the functionality is built in.
Very cool.
Any questions? All right. Project folders are amazing. I have actually a lot hidden. I probably have 50 different project folders that you can't see. And that's probably one of the main things that I use to organize data and information. But now that you understand and you know project folders really quick, I'm going to go ahead and move to the GPTs, and I want to show you a GPT that I have. I want to demo it, some more advanced functionality, and then we can go into how to create it and maybe some Q&A. So I created this operational efficiency advisor, and I really wanted this to help me create workflows, help me automate things using N8N. I like using, because we are in a Google environment, so Google app scripts are like really useful for me for the Google workspace, and I'm going to choose this one now. So essentially it's a GPT that I built for repetitive tasks that's helping me make operational aspects of my job more efficient. And I put these on thinking mode, which is also very important. You can change, and I assumed that you guys are, you know, 201 level, you knew that you can change the models. But because I want it to be thinking about processes, I needed to think a little bit more. It doesn't have to be deep research level, but I really want it connecting the dots and giving me the right types of process improvements and things. And sometimes there's code involved as well. So I think it's better to have it think a little bit longer to get these things done. Let me go ahead and get this prompt that I have. So I'm in my GPT, I have this prompt, I'm in thinking mode, and it's saying, create me a Google Apps script that will summarize all the documents in the Google Drive folder Learning Lab and input the document names and links into an Excel file in the same folder called Acme Corp Documents. So essentially my problem here is that I have a Google Drive folder, there's a bunch of documents in it, and I really need help organizing it and labeling all those documents in an Excel folder. Instead of doing this manually, I'm going to have a Google script do it for me. And I'm not going to create the Google script myself. I'm going to have ChatGPT do it because even though I understand some aspects of coding, I'm really bad at it. So I'm really happy that in the age of vibe coding, I'm able to do this very easily. Let's see. Okay, so this is the folder that I have. I wanted a script to take all of the documents in this folder with all of this fake company information, and I want it to put it in an Excel file and give me all the links to the documents. So I'm having ChatGPT do this for me right now. It's created the Google Apps script. I'm going to copy the code in the Google Apps script. I'm going to go to that folder and that Google form. I'm going to run an app, a Google script. This is the old one that I have, but I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to run it.
You have an extra brace at the end.
Thank you. That's why I don't like coding. See, I'm going to do it again.
Jenny, you're doing a good job being patient as 70 people watch you click around. So
Whoa, 70 people?
sorry.
You made her nervous.
There's only 4.
It's okay. I think these things are just fun, so I'm sure it'll work because I demoed it a few times earlier. But because the code's involved, sometimes it doesn't. But look, it says execution completed. I go back. Let's see. And it only added one. It said learning lab demos. But it did it. It did some sort of the functionality that it did before. I wish I wouldn't have deleted the one from earlier. Let's try to run that one. This one.
Yeah, it looks like the function name needs to be selected, or may have just done it there. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, you kind of get what I'm saying with this one. You can use it for the Google Apps to get you to do these specific things that should be automated or that can be automated that normally take a long time, which I find very helpful. Do you want me to try? Yeah, go ahead.
And just generalize a little bit. So for a company that's got 1,000 employees, Raymond Hunter, and an IT staff that's overwhelmed, data in a whole bunch of, OneDrive and SharePoints or Google Drives here, and this is ways for employees to start putting together, tasks that really could save 20, 30 hours a week. And across maybe 100 people or, 500 people. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Like, and have, your team has a group of apps, they have a folder of apps, just like Jenny just did, and you share those across your data. It's really efficient, save tons of time.
There we go. I just did it.
Nice.
Right.
So it took, yay, it did it. No, it took all of these documents in this folder with a little updating, went back and it added it to a file for me with all the links. And you can even get more complex. You can have it, sort these things for you as well. You can have it do different types of analysis. You just have to prompt it to do the right thing. And then you have to adjust it a little bit because it doesn't always work the first time. Sometimes it's just a tiny little piece of code or you have to update the file name or something like that. But I found this very helpful for automating things and for saving a lot of time. And I would recommend if you're in a Google environment to maybe try it out. I think it's actually really useful. But with this GPT, it's not just the Google Apps, it's mapping workflows, it's N8N. There's a lot of things you can do for process optimization with N8N or MCP servers. And if you are a little bit more techie, maybe creating some sort of a GPT to help you think out these like process and these workflows, I think is also really helpful. If you own your own business, especially, this is going to save you a lot of time. So this is the GPT that I have that I use all the time. Any questions?
Raymond's got a question, Jenny.
Yeah, I don't know that it was a question. I was
Or
going to
comment,
say,
yeah.
yeah, when you do create these scripts, I don't know how to keep check on them. Like, like you have, don't set them and forget them. I did a Google Apps script for my newsletter, newsletters coming in. So I just said anything that comes from deep learning, just put it in this Google spreadsheet, the topics and what they talked about. And I forgot. And I went back and I had a Google spreadsheet of like 7 months worth of newsletters, that there's no way I'm going to read them at that point, So when you do create these scripts, just make a mental note or write it down somewhere that you did it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Or you can have it in a project folder even, and then you save the prompt for whatever it was, and then you can go back and iterate as needed, which is helpful.
And Paula's got a hand up. Go ahead, Paula.
Thank you so much. That was great. My question has to do with putting the right kinds of security limitations. So, you know, how do you prevent the agent from, what if there are select files in a folder that you do not want the agent to read at all? Is that possible in Google Drive, or do you have to take those out, put them in some other separate place, and just simply never call that folder?
You should put it in a separate place, but I think there also is the option to have constraints within ChatGPT. So you can say, do all these things, but do not read this document. But I don't think it's a guarantee that it's not going to
Right.
read it. I think it's always helpful if you have these folders that shouldn't be used in ChatGPT, then you have a right container for that with right access privileges for whichever team needs to access it. So I would definitely consider maybe moving them out just to be safe, because I think it's not really certain if it'll look at them or not.
And then I think earlier, another discussion, there was something about if you change accounts or you come out, you can't take all that great work with you, all these GPTs that you've created. Is that still the case?
I think Rosemary talked about that a few months ago. I think it's the case that you can't easily do it. I guess you could manually go there and take screenshots or write down instructions and manually recreate them.
And when I updated, when I was on a different email address, and when I changed my email address, I can no longer edit the instructions in those custom GPTs.
Okay,
So,
that's good to know. Thank you. That's what I faintly remembered. Thank you.
yeah. So said differently, OpenAI currently has hard coded the email, a unique email as your unique identifier to your, profiles, which is kind of a rookie mistake. But it is what it is right now.
Yeah, you can go back though before you leave, or if you still have that same email and you edit the GPT, or you just take screenshots like you was saying. And actually, then you can put the screenshots into ChatGPT and then say, put this into text, and it'll do it for you. So maybe it's just one step away from text anyway.
Well, I set up a Google Doc with all my instructions for custom GPTs, so I can easily
Same. I
recreate
did the
them.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
The ones that work well.
That's really smart as well to have a prompt repository or a custom GPT repository. And I think I sent something like this to Mark the other day, where it's just listing out what your GPT is, who's the owner, what's the date, the last date it was changed. Do you have like a quarterly review, and who's responsible? Because if you're using it for your business, you need to have it updated, especially if there's a team using it, just to make sure that the instructions are correct or that it doesn't need to be updated. So thank you for bringing that up. I think it's a good point for sure.
And Jenny, just to highlight that, to me, it's essential if you're going to have anything useful internal. And to me, this is just like yet another wiki page that's going to die off and be out of date if there's not an owner on it for companies. Because I mean, because this is, I mean, you can build these things like crate. It doesn't matter. I mean, out of, I think the goal is to have a GPT or agent that's effectively used and valued by the team. The goal is just not to create half-built bridges that aren't used 30 days from now. Christina, you got your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I was very excited by seeing that Jenny had a way to save a prompt. She had that, it was underneath the project window, and she had saved this prompt. And I don't know if it's because I'm only on Plus and not on Pro, but I don't see a way to do that. What I'm doing is what Rosemary just described, is I take all my good prompts and put them into a document. In fact, I write them in a document and then I paste them into ChatGPT so I don't forget to have them. And it's such a pain in the neck. I was really hoping there was a way to save the prompt itself. Was that just a fantasy of my part that you had saved a prompt?
I save them in my project folders, so I can always go back and I can
But
kind
show
of
me how you
see.
did that. Like you just said, like go back to your Tech Tuesday, your Tech Tip Tuesday, grab
Okay.
that tech tip prompt request right there, right there. How did you
Mhm.
save that prompt?
Okay, there are multiple ways you can do it. So if you're in a project folder,
Yep.
as soon as you put in a new chat, let's just say this is the new chat, it's
Yep.
going to save as your prompt here. So then it's just going to show up as like your third prompt in your project folder. And then you can access it again right here on the right.
Yeah. So okay, that's saving the prompt.
Like it'll
Okay.
automatically show up because it's in the same project
Okay.
folder repository.
Okay.
And you can also go back to your old chats and then you can move it there.
Yeah. So within those, with those chats, like you're just looking, I have many prompts in those chats. I don't just have one prompt. And so I wasn't thinking of that as saving the prompt, right? It was saving a session is how I thought of it, rather than a
Oh.
single
Yeah.
prompt. So that I was getting lost in the language of, I think I'm trying to save the prompt itself and it's saving the whole conversation.
But Christine, let me say it differently to make sure it is a project specific history of your previously entered chats.
Okay, which is great.
Yeah.
I like that, but the prompts themselves are something I still need to manage. So that's okay. I was all excited, think I didn't have to do that anymore.
This isn't quite exactly what you want either, but I'm just putting in the thing that I found it incredibly helpful. It's a Chrome plugin that allows any of the AIs, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, you can save the entire thread as a markdown or as a PDF or anything else. And for me, that was invaluable. You know, it doesn't solve exactly what you were saying, Christina,
Right.
but boy, did it save a lot of time.
And what's that plugin called?
I put it in the
Thank you.
in the sorry in the chat.
Yeah.
It's AI exporter and it really works. I mean,
David,
yeah.
David, let me step back and make sure I understand. So when you typically you put a chat in, then you get another window with the result, and then you put another questions. You might have 4 windows. This prompt will take all 4 windows and put them in a single markdown, not just a single result area.
Correct. And I often have chats where I've been talking to it for an hour and there's 5 trillion things in there. And if you try to copy it, it's a nightmare. Now, how it may or may not handle canvases and all that stuff and artifacts, I can't quite remember. I think it may do that too, but it certainly is freaking invaluable for 90% of it, you know.
So, it says chats on the left-hand side, but it's actually saving the session. It's saving the entire session. Like if you go down there where it says chats, it's actually saving the session. So you
Yeah.
can save the entire session in the
Yeah.
project.
Stuff gets lumped together. I found
Yeah,
that.
I think it's just confusing. The terminology is confusing, but you're saving every single thing in that session.
Yeah, however, if you want it then to be like a markdown that maybe you give to cursor, for example, as a starting point, it can be challenging, to copy it out of there. But you're right that they're all saved there if you don't need them elsewhere. But sometimes you may do one thing in Gemini, one thing in Claude, and you want to. And anyway, you get the idea. Yeah.
Jenny, I'm just as sensitive to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lena. Jenny, I'm just sensitive to time. We got 4 minutes. We're probably like a 10% way through your 201, I bet, right?
Yeah, I have so much. That's okay.
You
Keep
know what?
going, man. Keep
Please come
going, keep
back.
Well,
going.
no. I want to stay. We'll have Jenny back, so we'll have her 201 session 2 in a couple of weeks. So Jenny, really great job. I want to Jenny, any other last minute thoughts or comments or contributions, and then we'll go to open mic for 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, just really quick, because I didn't go over this before. This is like 201 setting as well, going into your settings and going to personalization, because you can say who you are, you can say what your work is, what you prefer, which type of data you prefer. Do you like tables? Really putting the context in here and the reasoning for your own general ChatGPT is very helpful. And I would recommend doing that as well. Also, going back into your apps and connectors and seeing what you can put in that will help you with your workflows.
That's great. Excellent work, Jenny. So last few minutes, open mic. Open mic is when anybody can ask a question or share something they've been amazed by, or a project they're working on, or something somebody's got to be doing something interesting out there. Go ahead, Lucinda.
Yeah, so I've been working on a project where we did a POC last year and we're now bringing it into production. So that's been really, it's been amazing to learn so many things just using Claude. Claude has been amazing for coding, etc. But also just using ChatGPT, using Gemini for my documents, etc., and Perplexity and the Comet browser. I mean, it's just stunning just how much. I guess one other thing, Paul, is that I was having a meeting with a group of AI women, and one of the things they both mentioned was that the Copilot in Microsoft is much better, and they feel like it's really good. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's listen, we've seen in training, it's way better than it was 6 months ago. It's
Yeah.
still 6 months behind, I think, ChatGPT, but it's definitely way better. The thing I want to share I don't want to name the group. I was at a AI meeting last week, and it was like 10 tables of people who were very much into AI, and I was asking who uses ChatGPT more than 4 times a week, and everybody's hand went up. I said, who's created a GPT? And only one hand went up. So yeah, I'm just, this stuff is moving so fast, and we're a bunch of Gen AI addicts, and we're still just using 2% of the Swiss Army knife that's getting bigger every single day. And how about you guys? I'm finding that some of the GPTs, I posted one today about the one I use for critiquing my PowerPoints. They're just invaluable. I've told myself I'm not allowed to send a PowerPoint to a prospect or investor or something else unless I have the robot check it. And it takes a minute, and it gives me a list of the 3 toughest questions and proposed answers for it.
Yep.
Wonderful. Let's have any last minute contributions? Great. Well, thank you. Who is new here? Did he leave already? I can't. Whoever is new, welcome. I hope you come back. Maybe we lost him already. And everybody else, we hope to see you. And let's keep the learning going. And thank you, Jenny. Fabulous. And we'll definitely have Jenny back in a few weeks for 201 part 2.
If you were talking to me, thank you. And I was here
Okay.
till the end, and it was very helpful. Thank you.
Super. We hope you come back.
Sure.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.